So let's kick things off here with the December 22nd Ross Rundown, a special segment of the Father, Son, and Holy Sport weekly podcast brought to you by our friends at Woundwise IQ. So Team Money, hey, let's kick it off with your Ohio-based Cleveland Browns, Justine's team. Are they done for the year?
Oh, man, I think they are. I don't think they're going to be able to make it with the Steelers having a better record. I mean, they're last in their division, so they need help here. That's the biggest thing. Now, they play the Steelers and they play the Bengals, but the Packers, Steelers, Bengals to finish out the year, and you need to win them all basically to get in. I think they're done. I think it's been a very disappointing season for them. I'm just for Super Bowl hope, it's been disappointing that they might not make the playoffs. Now they've had some unfortunate things. Baker gets hurt, a lot of COVID things. They could have won that Raiders game probably, but no more excuses, man. You want to play with the big boys, Brownies. You got to show up. And these guys did not this year. Pretty disappointing overall.
Yeah, they're currently ranked 12th in the playoffs. Only 7 teams make it in, but they're still only one game out of that group. So they still got a way to do it. They're at Green Bay Saturday at 4:30. Yeah. Green Bay's favored by 7, though.
Yeah, toughest remaining schedule in the NFL. I just don't see how the Browns do it after. Not that they don't have the talent to. This is what we've been saying all year. They could be a Super Bowl team, but they just haven't put it together, especially versus the good teams. If your best win is a Bengals win that was in week 5 or whatever the heck it's been, like that's all they have to their name. And they are who they are at this point. They're just not good enough to make the playoffs.
And the Packers have given 28 points or more in the last 4 games, but they're also scoring more than 30. So the Browns have a little bit of a challenge, but they're going to have to put points on the board.
Yep, that'll be difficult for them because they just love to run that ball. But hey, bad weather might help them out. But let's go to your main man, your other main man. I know you love Cooper, but your boy JT, Jonathan Taylor, has just been showing out and just slaughtered one of the best defenses in the NFL. I mean, right now, he's not even getting love from anyone. I mean, he's right. He is moving up in the MVP odds, but why is he not getting any respect right now, G?
Well, he's not getting any respect because the Colts aren't getting any respect. And JT doesn't like that. JT is a team man. He's a humble man. And I think individually he does get respect, but it's the Colts started off the season 1-4. They dealt with a lot of injuries, but they've went 7-2 since then. So now they're sitting there at 8-6. They're in that playoff picture. I think, people are starting to look around and say, all right, can this team, be a contender?
Yeah. I mean, it's been really impressive what he's done. His first 3 weeks were really, really bad, but they've gotten it together since then. I think the biggest thing, with him winning an MVP this year, because, man, is he valuable? Oh, my gosh, they're 8-0 when he gets over 100 yards, and they're 3-0. Yeah. And it's just excluding the first 3 weeks when he just was horrible. And then without him getting 100 yards, they're 0-6. So you just see how valuable he is. But I think the biggest thing is Derrick Henry had such a monster season last year. For him not to win the MVP and then for Jonathan Taylor to do less than what Derrick Henry was doing last year, I think people are just kind of like, well, we saw Derrick do that last year. This is nothing new. I don't know. I think they got a little Derrick Henry fatigue for not giving him an MVP. So if they can't give Derrick one, we can't give you one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that could be true. But, JT's breaking out. He's a new guy, and the Colts have not done well. We're going to see Saturday night, Christmas night, the nightcap matchup when they play the Cardinals. We're going to see what goes down there between a team that everybody thought was number 1 across the whole NFL. And this game is a pick'em team money in Vegas. Pick'em game.
Yeah, going to be interesting. These Cardinals are on a little bit of a skid. I mean, you just lost to the Lions, so who knows what's going to happen with that. But, man, Jonathan Taylor, props to this guy, just been mauling people. Came out of nowhere, been great for fantasy owners, great for the Colts owners. I mean, I'm sure Colts fans love that Carson Wentz won a game only throwing 5 passes. That means he probably didn't throw a pick, and that's great for Colts fans.
Okay. Hey, let's say that's supposed to be my answer, not your answer. Hey, let's move to the let's talk about those Arizona Cardinals. Hey, man, what's wrong with the team? You said that they weren't doing well. What's wrong with that team, man?
I mean, I don't know if Kyler Murray's still hurt a little bit. They're missing JJ Watt a lot on the defense and his leadership. Maybe he's not in the locker room as much. DeAndre Hopkins is out. So, they're missing a lot of big guys. They had Chase Edmonds out, even though James Conner was on a roll. I just think Cliff Kingsbury is a new head coach. Kyler Murray is a relatively new quarterback. Maybe his injury is lingering, but they're just they're not used to being the hunted. If that, usually they're used to being the hunters, and now the season has changed and everyone's like, oh, these guys are 10-2. Let's go get them. They're the number 1 seed. Let's go get them. That's Tom Brady. They get everyone's best game. Green Bay, the Bucks, all these teams, the Chiefs. Now the Cardinals, they were getting a rollover game. Now they're getting everyone's best game and they're ready to fight, and they're not responding these past 2 weeks.
Yeah, and they faded last year, and people are afraid they're going to fade again, but still they're up there at the top. We've been talking about these 5 teams in the NFC all season long, and all of our shows, those 5 teams, the 2 that were in the finals last year, Tampa Bay and Green Bay, and then we've got Dallas, Arizona, and the Rams. And those 5 NFC teams are the cream of the crop over there. And right now, the 6 and 7 teams, the other 2 making it in, people are fighting for those last 2 spots. Right now, it's the 49ers and the Vikings in those last 2 spots.
Yeah. I mean, they do get to play the Seahawks to end the year. Like I said, they're 10-4. They're still winning the division. So I think, but they're going to get at least one more win. And even if they don't, they probably still slip into the playoffs. So they should be lucky here. I wouldn't be too worried about them making the playoffs, but it's the next part that's going to be interesting. But here, let's switch to another team that has had a little trouble here. The Pats, even though they are the 2 seed right now in the AFC, are they really the second best team, Gary?
Well, I will say if they beat the Bills on Sunday, yes, they are. The Bills are a game behind New England, but if they win this game, if the Bills win, they're going to have the edge over the Patriots. The Bills' final 2 games after this one are the Falcons and the Jets. So they should win those, and they have a good chance of winning the AFC East. If they win on Sunday, if they beat the Pats on Sunday, right now the Pats play the Bills at home, and they're favored by 2.5. So Vegas thinks, hey, New England's going to hold this out.
Very interesting. I disagree no matter which team wins this weekend between the Bills and New England.
What do you like as that number 2 team?
I think it's the Chargers. I think the Chargers are the
you're
second
mad,
best team. I love me some Herbie. Okay. I love me some Herbie,
man.
But, I just think they beat the number 1 seed, Kansas City. The second time they played them, they took them to overtime. They have great players at all facets of the game. So they have great quarterback, great running back, great receivers, great DNs, great safeties, great line. I mean, every great offensive line. They have the ability to be great at all facets if they put it together. They've beaten the Browns, they've beaten the Steelers. They've beaten really good teams here that are in playoff contention. The Raiders, Washington, all these teams, the Eagles that are in playoff contention. They've had some hiccups. I'm not going to lie, and they did lose to the Patriots, but Mac Jones had his best game of his career, and it wasn't that impressive. I just think that these Chargers are for real. I really like what they've been doing. I think if they can put it together, they are clearly the second best team in the AFC.
And you got a man crush on Justin like I've not seen, man. You love that guy, but yeah, they're a great team, man. I can't say no to that. And they could be up there in that top spot. So I support that, man. Hey, let's go on to talk about one of those other teams there, the one that's currently the top. Let's talk about the Chiefs, T-Money. What do you think about the Chiefs, man? Best team in the NFL or not?
I think they are. I think they had a skid, and you got to look at what have you done for me lately. Now, they are 1A. And the Packers are 1B. I'm going to give my love to the Packers. They have been great. I like what they've been doing, but this Chiefs defense changes things. If the Chiefs defense is going to play like this, like they have, and been the best defense in football the past 2 months, and then you throw Patrick Mahomes in there when he could throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns in a quarter like he did. I mean, my gosh, this is a scary, scary team. And this is the way I look at it, Gary. If every team could pick their first round opponent in the playoffs, the Chiefs would be the last pick. No one wants to pick the Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers has been a little sketchy in the playoffs the past few years. No one wants to play the Chiefs.
Hey, they're the best team in the AFC right now. I'll give you that. I don't know if I'd put them over those NFC teams yet. You know, they did have that poor start. They could have some dings here as we move along. If Kelsey and Tyree can't play this weekend, there could be some bumps here. But they do have, man, they're favored by 10 against Pittsburgh. They're hosting Pittsburgh on Sunday. 10 points is a lot of points. But you know what? Kansas City has covered the spread now 5 games in a row. So, hey, man, maybe they'll cover that 10 points.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Now, the only team I'll put them over in the NFC that you could argue with me, though, is the Packers. The Bucks just got shut out by the Saints. So let's pump the brakes on other teams. The Cowboys barely beating Washington. You know, the Rams always stumbling here and there, barely beating the Sea. I mean, let's pump the brakes on some of these other teams. So what I want to transition to, though, is one of the NFC teams.
Yeah, one of those
people
teams.
like to consider.
I was waiting for that transition.
Okay. And that's the Cowboys. They win again, right? They've been performing well. You got to like what they're doing. So the big question is, I mean, they're second right now in the NFC. Are you impressed?
Absolutely impressed. Yes, I'm impressed. They're not even playing well and they're winning.
Yeah.
And their defense is kicking butt. They're winning with defense. They've allowed just 14.7 points per game in the last 3 weeks. 15 points. That's all they're giving up. They've created 12 turnovers in the last 3 games. So they got that defense playing amazing ball, and they're not even playing well on offense. So they are in great position once they start putting it all together.
All right, let's put some context into this, Gary. They've been playing the last 3 weeks. All your little stats there you had were versus Washington, the Giants, and Washington. You want to bring out these stats? I'll fire them right back at you. Who the heck were they even playing this weekend? I think it was a 4th-string QB. I don't know who his name is. That's literally.
Are they second in the conference?
I'm just saying.
Are they second in the conference?
Am I impressed at them beating the NFC least teams? Okay, no. They haven't played the Eagles since week 3, and the Eagles are a very different team. They're playing crappy teams. I'm not giving you credit for what they've done lately. They almost let Washington come back. They didn't even look good versus the Giants, who everyone looks good versus the Giants. I mean, congrats on having a good defense versus 2 bottom feeders. I'm not giving them credit for that.
I said they're not even playing well, and they're second in the conference.
Or that's who they are. You show us who you are, and I think they slowly are letting us know.
Well, that could be. But hey, Sunday we're going to find out a little bit about them. They're favored by 10 over your Washington team. They're at home. Washington had some of those big COVID issues that we have been talking about that have affecting everybody. Well, hopefully all those teams will get it back together, and COVID's not the thing that hurts their season, and people get over that. We got a short week here for Washington, playing Tuesday, coming back. This should be another Cowboys win, though, my man. I think they're going to get this one. But hey, I got one more point on the Dallas team. NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Odds in Vegas, okay? Odds to win the Defensive Player of the Year. Guess who the top 2 are?
TJ Watt.
Yes.
Micah Parsons.
Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett and TJ Watt are the favorites. But guess who 3 and 4 are? Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs. The Cowboys, 2 defenders in that 3rd and 4th spot. So there you go, man. They got that defense really clicking, and Vegas sees it. Hey, we hope you love what you're seeing in the Ross Rundown, a special segment brought to you by Father, Son, and Holy Sport, sponsored by our friends at Woundwise IQ. Woundwise IQ is a patented mobile analytics software app that automatically measures and analyzes chronic and surgical wounds. It's used by leading physicians and nurses caring for people with chronic and surgical wounds to document the wound healing progress. Just download the app from the App Store. You're ready to go. Learn more at woundwiseiq.com. Hey, do you know that we love you? If you love the show, press the like and subscribe. Look for us on all the platforms at Father, Son, and Holy Sport. And if you're interested in being a guest on our Ross Rundown segment, reach out to us. Merry Christmas from everyone here at Father, Son, and Holy Sport. To all of you, enjoy the games this week, and good luck in your fantasy playoffs.
All right. We'll catch you later. Good luck.